We'll try to get more done today. So,
Don't worry, you'll still
chapter, well, Lydia's not going to be studying with us though. She'll be taking the test. So we're going to try to do chapter 10, and we'll start chapter 11.
What are we doing?
Chapter 12 was the thing, we never took a test on it, but it's the last thing we did. We'll do chapter 11 and 12 tomorrow, the other half of chapter 11. So even if you're not here, you're still responsible for it. I'll probably record it, so if you want to look at it, you can. Alright, chapter 10, factoring. Okay,
Are we going to a factory?
there are three ways we learned, three types of factoring that we learned. I'm talking about polynomial factoring. If you have normal number factoring, that was like, what are the factors of 20? Like 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. Okay, but with polynomial factoring, does anybody remember what we learned?
The tree?
No, not trees.
You mean that A2 plus B2 plus C2?
No,
No,
that's
that's not.
quadratic formula.
No, that's not.
Yes.
The quadratic formula is minus
Or sorry,
C.
you're right. It's Pythagorean theorem. So the first thing we learned was take stuff out. Does this ring a bell?
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
here's number 1. 3a squared plus 6a cubed
No.
Ah,
minus
this.
12a.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
So you can take out 3's and
Okay, factoring. What can we take out of all three of those?
a 3 in 2 ways.
3 and a squared. So you put 3a squared. 3 goes into all these, and they all have at least an a squared. You put that on the side, and in parentheses you put what's left after you divide all those by 3a squared. What would this be?
1.
3a squared divided by 3a squared is 1. Plus, yeah, a lot of people put nothing right there and get it wrong. 6 divided by 3, 2a minus 4.
A squared. Is that the answer?
Yeah. So that's called take stuff out. You should always check that one first. Does anybody remember the other two?
Not exactly. I remember this one was my favorite.
I'll probably remember
Oh,
if
it
you
was
do one.
the one where. No, oh, you guessed like with the middle. Oh,
Yeah, it's called three-term factoring, and then the last one was square minus the square.
Oh
Okay.
wait, is this like a reverse FOIL thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
this one wasn't, but
I remember that. Slightly.
are we doing 20 today?
possibly that seems like pretty close. Okay, number 2. Let's do another one of those. I'm gonna steal them from the book. Okay,
You could take out 2
factor
x's.
that.
How? Is it the same as number 1? I'm gonna guess not.
Would you take the next one?
Wait, I mean you can take the
You
X.
can take out x squared.
You can take out x squared. It is very similar to number 1. X squared.
X squared plus 3xy plus 7 nothing. 7.
Just a singular 7.
Now, after you take stuff out, you should check and make sure this
I'm
doesn't
just
factor
a normal
either.
guy.
But on this first part, it won't. Later on, there it will.
You can't take Y out.
What? No, it's got to go into all of them. What would happen if I multiplied x squared out on this?
It would go back.
Go back to that. Right?
Or at least hopefully if you do it right.
If you did it right.
Is that how you would check?
Huh?
Is that how you would check?
Yeah, you could check it like that. All right, number 3.
This one looks.
Okay. Yeah, this one's different. Can I take anything out?
No.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
we should probably write that.
Oh, is this the?
You can't take anything out. This is the form of 3-term factoring. It's got the square term, the one
What was
term.
it? Is it there's two?
Okay, the question we always ask,
Applies to this that adds up to
right?
this.
What multiplies into 56?
7 and
That adds
We did this a little bit in chapter 12. You guys remember that?
negatives.
What multiplies into 56 that adds up to negative 15?
Negatives.
In chapter 12, the chapter we just were doing last week, it looked like this, an
Negative
equation.
9 and negative 6.
You guys remember that?
Yep.
It's like a week ago. But this is not an equation, we're just factoring.
Negative 7.
What multiplies into 56?
What? Negative 9 and negative 6.
7, 8, negative 7.
7 and 8. That adds up to negative 15.
Negative
7 times 8.
Negative 7 and negative 8. They multiply to 56.
And then do
It's 8 and 7.
What?
do foil.
No. If I foiled, what would I get?
That top.
That right there. This is unfoiling. Foiling is multiplying together. Factoring is saying what times what equals the original. So it's breaking it apart.
So it's what multiplies into 56 and adds up to 15? Or
Yes.
negative 15?
Multiply. Yeah, so on your notes, if you want to write that down, like
Would
that
it
sentence.
be, would you say for negative 15 or just 15? Just like more than what you're doing there.
Say what?
So would you just ignore that it's negative?
No, it has done up to negative 15. Okay, number 4 is up there.
Thank you. I hate that.
Is 4 kind of the same thing as 3?
Yes.
If it's in the
It is
3-term
near to
form,
exact.
yes, you do 3-term factoring every time. If it's in the 3-term form, x squared x is a constant. 3-term factoring, do the same thing.
Is there a way to factor on your calculator?
No.
They should make that.
There is a, never mind.
There's a
I mean,
limit.
your phone can do it right
There's an app on the phone, but I won't use it.
There's always an app.
Because then you would flunk it on your test, because you wouldn't know what you're doing. Okay,
Yo, what you doing?
okay. Did you guys get this?
Yeah.
Really? You get the answer?
Yeah, I did. I got it.
Number 5's been up there for a minute or two also.
I got it. I got it right here. 4 right here.
Okay, Braden, what did you get for 4?
I got x plus 4 parentheses, x minus 1 parentheses. The answer would be negative 4 comma 1.
No, it's not an equation, so you can't solve it for x. That's
Okay,
the
so but that was the equation. No.
It's not an equation, it's
That's
just
just
a
the answer.
factored polynomial.
The factor polynomial, right?
4 and negative 1 multiply to that, add up to that. This one's a little bit harder, but pretty much same thing, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna pause on that for a second and do number 6. Okay, I'm gonna make 6 harder.
I'm sorry.
I saw you set it down. Wait, so
Oh, I know. Wait, no. Hey, what does that mean?
X plus 9.
Oh right, the 2 means that you have to
Yeah.
multiply.
Yeah, it's like 1 and 2. I get that part.
Yeah, I actually
Okay,
did it.
Lydia, what goes into 54?
6 and 9.
6 and 9, and how do you make 3 out of that?
Negative 6 plus 9.
Negative 6 plus 9. Does the order matter?
No.
No. Plus 9 minus 6.
You got the signs right.
Yeah, the signs have to be right, but not the order. The order doesn't matter. Alright.
I'm sad that I just.
6 is, boys,
Move from Will's head.
Okay, on 6, what's harder about number 6? What's different? Sam?
The 2, it can't.
The 2 in the front. So it's still the 2 parentheses, but you're not quite asking the same question.
Yeah.
On the front, we just can't put X and X or D and D.
You gotta put 2D and 2D.
And then D on the other one.
You said do.
I know the answer.
Okay. On the back, we say what multiplies into 7.
1
That when you FOIL it,
Ah.
adds up to 9. Not what goes into 7 that adds up to 9. There is nothing. But when you FOIL it, adds up to 9.
1 7.
1 7. 1 times 2 is 2.
Okay.
And then if you add
We need
7, that's
yeah, we need 2 times 1 and 7 times 1, right?
Plus.
So I need a 1 here. That's 2 times 1. And I need a 7 here. That's 7 times 1D. So that's
Oh.
2D plus 7D
That's gonna throw me
is
off.
9D.
70?
Okay, since the 8th graders are not going to be here tomorrow, let's turn this into a chapter 12 question. Okay,
What, quadratic formula?
chapter 12 was that.
We're supposed to do
What's
quadratic
that?
on there then, right?
Okay, quadratic formula will be on there. So, 8th graders, on your page of notes, you'll want to put quadratic formula for one thing.
Well, you write that again.
Yeah, like for notes. Paper for notes. Wait, no, hold on, I think it's not. Okay. If it's not, it's not. Yeah, it's-
Alright.
Bad.
But on this one, you wouldn't have to use quadratic formula because it factors. Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember what we would need? What could D be on this equation? Okay, it's -1 because if this is 0, the whole thing's going to be 0, right? So D could be -1 or no. If I plug in -7 right here, what am I going to get? 2 times -7 is -14 plus 7, not 0. So how do I make it 0? -7/2. Okay? You guys remember that? Probably not. So this would be a good note if 8th graders especially, because we will be talking about this tomorrow, but 2 times -7/2 is -7 plus 2, or plus 7 is 0. Anyway, instead of -7, it's -7/2. Yeah.
We're using that, right?
No. We used factoring. If it didn't factor, or if we don't want to factor, we could have used quadratic formula.
That's what I did.
Usually, if you factor, though, if you can factor, it's usually easier. 'Cause it's pretty quickly. Okay, but this is chapter 10, which we did not have equations. So really, we would just stop right here on chapter 10. But there will be chapter 12 on there, so there you go.
What in the world?
Number 7.
I got -9 plus 1. Oh, I forgot the division.
Okay, this one is supposed to be a trick question.
Well, you cannot trick Leo. Leo will do it.
Leo fears no evil.
Hey, you gotta put them back in order.
Okay, it's not in order. So that'll confuse us if it's not. So how do we fix it?
In order to do it?
No. You don't subtract anything. The only time you can subtract things is when you have an equation, and then you can do it the same thing to both sides. If it's not girls, if it's not an equation, you can't change numbers. Because you can do it on equations, because if you do the same thing to both sides, they're still equal. But you can't like add 14 or anything to this, that would change the value. Okay, you just change the order. What should go in front? X squared. What should go next? Plus 5x should go next. Because it's positive, and then the minus 14. Okay, now it's ready, now it's the normal problem again.
What are the multiples of 14?
Got it.
There's not a lot of factors.
2 and 7.
Not a
X
lot of
plus
factors
7
in 14.
and x minus 2.
We do 7, positive 7 minus
X plus 7
X plus 7.
x 2.
X minus 2.
Alright,
Do we just need to put the
guys, 7 and 8 are up here. Do it.
7? Do we just need to put the formula or do we need to put the answer?
Okay, no, you have to factor it. Factor in the
No,
question.
that's what I mean. The fact we just need to factor.
Yeah, factor it. Number 8. There's kind of a trick on number 8. Does anybody know what it is?
Divide by seven.
The 7.
Okay, you're not dividing by 7, you're taking a 7 out first.
Yeah.
If you can factor something out first, you should do that. And then what's left in the parentheses, you can factor that. So on 7, you take something out first, just like we did on number 1. And then what's left in parentheses will be like this one, like number 7. Okay. Get them both, Katie? That means I'm gonna ask you one. You look pretty confident, so I'm gonna go with that.
Oh, like occasionally I'm very annoying. Occasionally. Depends on the occasion. When it matters the most.
I have no idea how this can work.
I'll take some out first. Alright, let's do number 7
I
real
did, that's why I
quick.
can't.
Okay, Jaden. Okay, shh, Jaden. Yeah, go ahead.
X minus 2, X plus 7.
That is correct.
And you could put X plus
And do
seven.
eight.
But if you take out the
Yeah.
7,
So what comes out on number 8 first?
7.
7.
Negative 2, negative 1.
After you take a 7 out, you should get this.
And then you gotta factor it one.
And then it factors again, the parentheses.
Negative 2, no, negative 2, negative 1. Y and minus 2, y minus 1. Sorry, I didn't see you raise your hand.
I forgot you divide by what you
Are you
take
not
out.
supposed to take out a variable?
Subtracted.
There's no, you can't take out a variable because there's no y in this one. It's gotta come out of everything. Okay, what goes into 2 that adds up to negative 3?
1 and 2, negative 1,
Negative 1 and negative 2. Alright, are you guys ready for a curveball?
No.
Yeah.
No, I like curveballs.
The curveball.
Yeah, I like knuckleballs better.
What?
Baseball punch.
Number 9. Let's do x squared minus 25.
Ball doesn't have any
Okay.
spin on.
We have not done one of these today. Can anybody tell me how? Raise your hands.
Did you square?
Katie.
Square root them?
Right. This is the third way we learn square minus a square. You take the roots. You do one with a plus, one with a minus. Yeah, these are conjugates, yes.
Could you square root it?
Yeah, you do square root of this is x, square root of this is 5, x minus 5 is 12.
Sorry, I was kind of right though.
Let's try, try that one.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
I will.
Knock one.
What's that from?
The Dark Knight.
Who's that? Is?
Huh? The Joker.
Ah, that explains why I didn't recognize. Did make me
Very
think
large
of.
waste of water.
Did make me think of smells guys.
What if I talk fast like that?
Child of frost. Oh
Yeah, you probably ruined your voice for a while.
What the heck?
Quadratic formula is negative b plus
We probably wouldn't learn anything because we'd be cracking up too much.
What's the answer? 6.
And maybe found some like that.
20 million. All right.
How did you get that answer, Mr. Word?
Do you have the answer, Jaden? Okay. Hush, hush, boys. Jaden, go ahead.
Minus 4. 3x.
Okay. Number 11, another curveball. Who wants it?
B minus 2
Not Jaden.
plus 2?
So have I not called on yet? Marion.
Oh.
B plus 2 minus
Okay. It's
Plus 2
not.
plus 2?
It's not b plus 2, b minus 2.
B minus plus 2.
Both positives?
B plus 2.
No solution.
What?
Why?
You said
Why
it's
is
not
not
a curveball.
factor?
Okay. Why?
No, this is a fastball.
Why doesn't it factor?
I can't see it. Can't see it.
Why doesn't it factor?
Prime?
Cause
Why is it prime?
Because you can't do a negative and a positive.
Okay, it's not a square minus a square. You have to have a minus in there, or it doesn't work. Okay, so 11, yeah, that's a trick question. I'm not 100% sure, but it's likely there will be a prime on the test, but I don't really
we just
remember.
put not
Don't
factorable
understand why though,
instead of
because
prime.
4 can be square rooted.
We do count not factorable.
Yeah.
4 can be square
You
rooted.
guys remember what a prime number was?
It can't be divided by any number that's 1 in itself.
Yes.
So like 17.
Okay, guys, listen up.
So 17, 7.
Okay, a prime number is a number that only itself can go into it, basically, 1 times itself. So nothing can multiply into this besides this times itself, times 1.
7, 13, 17.
Probably will be factorable since it's not minus.
Well, okay, shh, quiet. Girls. Okay. If there's a plus in it, it could still factor, but it's just not a square minus a square. For example, if there were a b right here, what could we do?
Take out
Take
B.
out B.
Take a b out. But it's not a square minus a square, it's take something out. But, yeah, on this problem, you can't take anything out.
So if there was a B on the end of the 4, all we could do is take out a B.
Right.
And that would be the answer.
And that would be it. That would be it. Or if there's like a 6 right here, you could take a 2 out. Okay, that kind of thing. All right, number 12. Are we ready for a hard one? I think we're ready for a hard one.
Think you'll win.
You say we are or we aren't?
We're not. Oh, no, one of these.
You can at least take out 2. I know
Okay,
that.
quadratic formula is used to solve equations, not to factor. All of chapter 10 was factoring. Okay, what should we ask ourselves first?
You can take out 4.
What is the A that
What can you
adds
take out?
4.
4. Okay, we'll use this calculator to help him figure out, does 4 go into 68? The answer is yes.
17.
17 times. So it's still kind of a tricky one even after we take the 4 out,
But it's less tricky.
but it's less tricky.
Isn't 17 a prime? Pretty sure 17's a prime.
It doesn't matter if 17's prime.
No, it's not. It's not prime. I know the answer.
Even if the parentheses was prime, we still factored something out, so no.
Oh, right.
But it doesn't matter if 17 is prime.
Right, I forgot about the 3.
That's irrelevant. Okay,
Videos.
Oh, okay.
Lydia, have you done this problem? Yeah.
I didn't.
What'd you get? Yeah, did you just lie? Okay, Carter, have you done this problem? No. Don't lie.
I didn't say I did.
Okay, Sam.
Okay, so I used the 4, -4, -5, but the x.
Okay, what goes on the front? That's our first question.
3x and x.
3x and x. Okay. Second question, what goes on the back?
4.
What goes, probably 4 and 5 or 10 and 2, 1 and 20, probably 4 and 5. Remember the book liked to use the middle numbers?
Yeah. So 3x minus 4, and then x minus 5.
Okay, how do we see if that works or not?
You do the math.
Boil
Outside,
Do math.
inside, kind of double smiley face.
Oh, I didn't
So
reverse
it's
it.
minus 15 minus 4 is minus 19.
Just switch
I
to
did-
4 and
you guys
5.
Didn't work.
keep doing that.
Switch to 4 and 5.
So minus 2?
Like 1
Minus 5, minus 4.
2 and
Let's
Okay,
go.
Hey,
now,
not minus 4, that's plus.
now
Oh,
what's the,
yeah.
now what's the outside? Minus
20.
12
12, 17,
minus 5
17.
is minus 17.
Thinking about the mental stuff for you to say. 4 instead of.
I almost read it and I researched a 4 outside.
You're gonna shut Hey, babe. You're going to mess up your voice.
Yeah, that's true.
Rasputin. You can't grasp the right.
Okay. Number 13.
But
You know, funny, why don't you just make a full mask and then just make like a voice, yeah, something that,
he did that in that
yeah. I'm just saying, with his billion.
Okay, guys,
why
got
wouldn't
a
he
couple
just
problems up
do
here.
that? Save his voice.
Did that bad.
I'm gonna try to get to 20 and see if we can make it.
Save his voice.
Actually,
Get to 17.
let's stop at 15, then we'll go into chapter 11.
Hey, Mr. Jordan,
Wait.
what do you do whenever there's an x behind the 25?
Okay.
On 13, wouldn't that,
So it's
if it
3x.
wouldn't it have to multiply to 0?
Is x a square?
No.
No, it doesn't have a square root.
So you can't do anything?
No, no.
It disappears?
If there's an x there, it's not a square minus a square, because this doesn't have a square root.
Minus x first.
Do what?
Take out x.
Oh yeah,
Take
you
an
can
x
get
out.
rid of it.
Take an x out. Girls.
But the net x wouldn't come out.
So we'd have 9x minus 25. Can I do anything with this? No. It is almost a square minus a square, but it's not quite because this x is screwing it up.
That's the answer?
Yeah.
That's the magic answer.
Okay. What can you do on 14?
I
Take
take
out
out.
y.
I don't know.
Let's do one more hard one, then we'll go on. Take out a y on 14, that's correct. Go ahead and do that.
Oh, okay.
So basically one,
Hold on. Minus.
that doesn't make sense.
Yes,
Because there'd have to be like a 1 in front of the X, but
Why?
Oh.
Let's go.
oh, I get it.
Let's go. You got it.
I got
Oh, does that factor?
No.
Yeah.
It does.
it. It does.
No.
Yes, it does.
I didn't even see that in the end. Okay, because what goes into 56?
8 and 7.
8 and 7. How do I get, stop. How do I get 1,
-7.
Positive 8, negative 7.
positive 8, negative 7? So it's,
Oh.
I accidentally switched to, oh no, these are X's. These are X's in there. X plus 8, X minus 7. Okay, 15 is just another problem with the number on the front, so. What?
Yeah,
Is
sure.
it, on the test, Mr. Jordan?
What?
I was looking at it.
What?
On the test, are we gonna go over
What?
the chapter?
What? Huh?
On the test, are we going to go over the chapter?
What? Huh?
Okay, written, looks like you haven't even written 15 down.
Would you check out?
Nothing comes out on this one, right? Because 2 doesn't go into 9, so you can't take anything out.
Oh, so what goes into 8, what multiplies an 8 to 9?
Okay, Emily, what goes in the front?
15 is not that.
Emily, what goes in the front?
We're looking at the base.
Oh, 2A and then A.
2A and A. Okay, what goes into negative 18? What's the first two? 9 and 2?
6
What else? 6 and 3. Usually it's the ones towards the middle. It could be 9 and 2. We just gotta check and see what works. If I use, I'm gonna guess 6 and 3, yeah. If I use 6, if I put a 6 here,
12.
No.
that's gonna make it 12. And if I put a minus 3 here, what's 12 minus 3? 9. So this would be it. Just kinda gotta play around, plug them in, and see what works.
What are you guys doing tomorrow?
Chapter 11 and 12.
Who wants me to do something?
But actually, we're about to start chapter 11
Who
right
wants me to do something different? Yeah,
The test is over chapter 7 through 12. We're on half of chapter 12 anyway.
20 years now.
Okay, I'm gonna call this. I'm gonna call this number 1.
It's number 1 in chapter 1.
It's like 3 o'clock. I was running through it.
Listen, I can check something.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So we need our calculators.
Yeah, you definitely remember. You guys remember on this test, the calculators could help on some of the problems, but some of them you had to do by hand.
Me and Kyle.
Yes.
Written. Written. Turn around.
Is this the tree thing?
What?
Is this the tree thing?
Not the estimate isn't, but yeah, this is the chapter where we did a lot of
Wait,
trees.
so what-
Would nearest integer be the nearest whole number?
You have to do it a decimal and then round it. Yes, I think.
Yeah, just what's an integer?
Nearest whole
Is
number?
it not? Yeah, it's a whole number. It's, well, it
Yeah,
could be a
but-
negative. Whole numbers are positive. It means not decimal or fraction. Yeah, the
But what
one
about 7,
one place.
3? Is that the answer, 7, 3, or is
No.
that?
So what is the nearest
Change it to a
integer?
decimal.
What is
Round
the
it.
nearest integer?
Integers are the numbers on a number line. Round it to the ones place. That's what
Positive or negative whole number?
Okay. Justice.
So 12.
What did he equal 12?
What the?
Yeah. probably should be able to do this without a calculator, because do you guys remember what 12 times 12 is?
144.
144. So it's going to be like 12.1 basically.
How do you do exponential?
Okay, what does exponent mean? Power, the little numbers, powers. So this is called radical form. This symbol is a radical.
So we need a
Okay,
tree.
5, this is the same thing. The cube root of 5 is the same thing as 5 to the what power?
1.
5 to the 1/3. 5 to the 1/3 times x to the 2/3.
What's going
What
on?
is that noise?
Child.
Children laughing.
Somebody being silly.
Did someone
I
put
thought
a
you were
laughing
being
gas
sad
on?
about it. I was gonna accept that, but whatever.
What?
What?
That's not real.
Earlier in innocent, but she was on there.
Oh.
Her regression to X,
There we go.
but she just did a whole
Air is
slew of
closing
them.
up.
Yeah, she was Swedish, British, Indian.
Okay. Number 3. Carter, what times what equals -8? Negative times negative times a negative is a negative, so it's -2.
Yeah.
Okay, what's different on number
No
4?
solution. No solution.
Word.
Should be.
Is it possible to have a number times itself equal a negative?
No.
No. So we didn't put no solution, we put
Not.
no real solution.
Something not.
I'll just put not real.
Imaginary.
Yeah, there's something called an imaginary number that we'll learn in algebra 2.
If we just put those like no signs, will you count that for all of these?
How is that?
Not real,
Because it's
not,
cute.
Three
not
negatives
calculable.
multiply to get a negative.
Your GTF.
But
That's possible. -2 times -2 times -2 is -8. But you can't have two numbers, like -2 times -2 is positive 4. You can't have two numbers multiply to get a negative to the same number.
On our final, if we just put that like no symbol, will you count that as not real, no solution, and not calculable? All these?
Technically it's a little bit wrong, but I would accept it, I guess.
Thanks, because I don't think I could keep all these straight.
That's what the notes are for, Will. Alright,
I
you're
digress.
supposed to be taking notes.
Can I get done?
No.
obviously not. It's not Mr. Jordan.
I have to wait till we're done with all
Okay.
these pages.
I'm gonna skip, I'm gonna skip the calculator problem,
Oh, no.
and we'll go one to one that cannot be done on the calculator.
Oh, yeah?
The directions are to simplify.
Oh, okay.
We'll start with the smaller one actually. Okay, the directions are to simplify.
Is that an 81 or is it an 81?
81. Okay, what trick did I use on these?
Trees,
You made the tree.
Tree.
And
9 and 9.
9 and 9.
3s and 3s, so it's 3 to 3.
3 squared root of 3. 3 squared root of 3.
Well, pretty much. It's 3. Remember, girls, remember you need 3 of them if you're doing cube root. So it's 3 cube root of 3, not square
So
root.
there's a lot of 3s.
3, yeah, there's a lot of 3's on this one. 3 times the cube root of 3.
Well, it's a
You don't
biblical
take
number.
off, you don't put
Let's do one more, I guess. Let's do square root.
So we're going to 21.
We should do a big number.
Oh. Oh.
Okay, let's throw the letters in there. That'll give us
All
some
right.
Actually, I meant to do this. Not that.
Oh, thanks.
That's the same thing as last one.
Was number 5 there 3 squared root of 3? Right?
3 cube root of 3.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking at your
Okay,
Divide by 2.
you could use your calculator for the 27 part,
Okay.
right? Just not the letter part.
3x
27
squared square root of 3. I just said
No.
the answer.
Another double 3.
No, you forgot something. 3x square root of 3x y2.
Okay. Who can remind us how to do the letters? Will?
You did
Oh,
that
you said
division.
Division. You do 3 divided by 2.
What's Selena doing?
So that's 1 with the remainder of 1.
So basically,
So
it's
it's
3.
1 and 1.
And then the y.
What's 4 divided by 2?
Y squared.
2. So, do I put anything in here?
No.
No. That would be it.
Oh my gosh.
We done.
We're about a third away through chapter 10, or 11 I mean. I will try to record tomorrow. If you want to watch it, you can see the rest.